going on, YouTube? Back on the 91 Pontiac Firebird. Been doing valve seals for the last few days on this, and that's kind of what I'm gonna run in today a little bit. I'm not gonna go through everything with it, like as far as all the valves, because I've already kind of pretty much done most of them. I just got 2 other cylinders to do, and that's 5 and 6 in the very back. But I am going to show you how to do the valve seals on this engine, and also maybe try to squeeze in putting the lifters and everything back on, and try to set the 0 lash for the push rods. And if you get started doing this project, if you don't have if you got an air compressor, great. If you don't, get you some nylon rope. Kind of get the light out of it so you can see. About the equivalent size of your finger, roughly. And you want to be sure that you take all the spark plugs and everything out. Rotate this motor TDC top dead center if you're going to be starting on number 1, which is the best technically. Make sure you're on compression stroke. This is going to be for any of the cylinders. When you get everything at compression stroke, top dead center, and everything. I got a long extension, quarter, works really well. And since I'm back here on these 2 here, what I want to do is I just kind of want to stick the 1/4 inch in this hole until I fill the top of the piston. I am down. So what I need to do at this point is also I need to come down here and rotate the motor up. You can watch your valves if you wanted to, but I find this effective a little bit easier. Try to get my hand out of the camera. About that much. And then I'm going to take my rope, because you don't want the piston all the way up. You want your piston to be down just a little bit, so that way you can feed in your rope. Hang on just a second. And when you feed your rope and stuff in, you want to at least put in a good 3 foot, maybe 4, but try to get enough of the rope in the cylinder as much as you can, and just fill it. Sometimes you may end up having to take the 1/4 extension and help kind of feed that rope if it has a little issue going in that cylinder, because sometimes it'll kind of bind up on you a little bit, so you may end up having to work it and feed that rope in that cylinder a little. Alright, so I got my rope and everything fed through. I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna just rotate the engine until it's fully stopped. I can't pull it out. So I know that that rope is on top of that piston. I also know that that rope is also allowing the valves from dropping down into that cylinder. It helps hold the valves up. If you had an air compressor, basically same concept. You're just allowing the air to hold the valves up for you. But since I don't have an air compressor, I've got nylon rope. It does the trick just as good. For those rocker nuts, you're going to need a 15mm. And you're going to loosen both of these up and take the rockers off. Now on the back, it looks like it's going to be a little bit more hectic because everything's so close to the firewall and everything else. So I'm probably going to end up having to remove my map sensor out of the way, and hopefully nothing else gets in the way. Just have to finagle everything out, because I'm going to try to get this tool, this valve spring compressor tool, in there. You can get to all the other cylinders pretty easy, and that one there is going to be kind of a pain, because that windshield wiper motor is going to have to be removed so I can access clearance. This side's going to be kind of more of a pain because I've got all this other stuff in the way. Once you get the nut moved out, just pull straight up on the rocker and put it somewhere where you know where it's at, and make sure that you keep these parts completely in order. Hang on a second. Just like that. You are going to have to remove your push rods. Same thing, keep those in order. Pull them straight out. Set those to the side. And now we get up here and remove this map sensor. It's a long bolt. It has a 10mm nut on the bottom of it. So the top's 10mm. This is a 10mm. Just gonna pull that out. Lay your map sensor somewhere. Alright, so get your valve spring compressor tool. It's always good to just to make sure that it's going to actually fit on there. Now what I had to do, take this off. I had to loosen this up, and because this here will loosen. See how that coming? So you see how that's loose? So that way I could run this down. And kind of line it back up there. So now when I press down on this, put my handle in there, I can press my spring down. Now, issue is sometimes you might be able to get the keepers out that way. Sometimes they'll loosen up, or you may have to take a socket, and I'm going to show you that method real quick. But like I said, you may end up having to take a socket, preferably probably about this size, if I can get it cleared up for y'all. 1 1/8. And all you do is, actually I had to go through on all of these and do it, but just lay the socket on there like that, take a 3-pound hammer and whack it a few times real good, and you will notice that you'll hear the keeper come loose. Don't do that, because then you'll lose your keeper. The keeper comes loose and you'll hear it. Just tilt the socket back a little bit, take your other hand or get you a magnet and get the keeper out, lay it off over there, and come back and get the other side out. And it may end up helping if you come on the driver's side, or if you're working on this side, it'll be best to get over to the passenger side so you can reach over and get a little bit more grip on your socket. And that way, so if you're here on the other side, you can put your socket there, and when you hit it with the 3-pound hammer, you're automatically on that side anyway to go ahead and get your keepers and stuff out. When you get your last keeper out, it's like I said, this socket is perfect for this, because that retainer right there will get stuck in the socket. It's okay, because your keeper is also inside this socket. See that keeper drop? Now to get this here out, you may end up having to take something and slip down in there and just kind of lightly tap it out. Don't want to knock it out, but just lightly tap it out, it'll come out. This is the intake, and there is a valve seal on the intake side. Just have to work it and pull it out. The valve seal is going to stick inside. Get that out here in a minute. And at this point, we'll just kind of come in here and clean all this up. I usually like to run my finger through here in case there's any debris that had fell out, like the O-ring that sits right here on the second groove. Usually those get dry rotted and stuff real bad, and usually you might end up filling, but it looks like everything came out with that other. Well, you just get it all cleaned up, run your finger up the valve, make sure there ain't no burrs. If there is a little bit of burring, you can take a little bit of emery paper or something extremely fine and just kind of sand a little bit, and just enough to knock the burrs down. You don't want to go haywire on it, just enough to knock the burrs down. You see, I can't even push the valve all the way down because of the rope. So that rope works wonders. Get you a little bit of brake cleaner and spray these valve springs down, and spray that retainer over there down real good. And don't really have to worry about spraying the keepers or anything, just kind of wipe the keepers and stuff. But like I said, there's no ring that sits on that valve, but you can see part of it there. There's the old valve seal. Now, I want to show y'all something real quick, because these valve seals are not, I'm not used to, me personally, I'm not used to these style valve seals. It's not what you would actually normally would probably find. Normally you'd find the kind of like the like the little top hat looking type valve seals. I can't think of the name, like maybe umbrella seals or whatever it is. Maybe these are the umbrella seals, but they've got a top hat seal on most engines, and that's what I'm used to seeing, that fits flush all the way down on the head. But these type seals do not go all the way down onto the head like most of the seals that you would normally replace. They go only to right there to that lip. My fingernail is at. They only go to right there. Alright, so this is your positive intake seals here. These here are your exhaust seals. Now the intake seals, the intake seals you can get at AutoZone. Part number is 7530 SS. For your exhaust seals, SS72685. It's your part number for those. Get some engine assembly lube. And all you want to do is just put it like a little thin coat inside your seal. Now they do have a sleeve that also comes with these that you can put over the valve. But as long as I got the engine assembly lube on there, don't really matter. I mean, all reason, I mean, the seal is just, or the sleeve is just to kind of help protect, but being these are rubber and stuff, really don't have to worry about them too much. Like I said, as long as you get the engine assembly lube and put on there, just some type of lubrication. Some of these you can push on by hand, but I'm going to take a 10mm deep well socket and put over that and just lightly tap it into place. Slide it right over there, and with one hand I'm going to hold it, the other hand taking 3-pound sledge and just kind of lightly tap that down. Just tap it till it's flush right there, and that's all there is to it on that. These here are the O-rings, and these O-rings, just take them out of the package. All you want to do is take it and slip it over. Not to that one, but to the second one. I'd come it to the second one right there. Next, take your valve spring, push it over, just like that, and you're going to take your valve spring compressor tool, install it on that stud, and push that spring down. Once you got it threaded on, make sure it's even, and it just pops on, just like that. Then take this little guy, put that bad boy on there just like that. Grab your keepers. Once again, make sure this is going to be straight. And you can add your keepers in. So this here actually does lock. I was having a heck of a time the other day trying to keep this thing, you know, to where it would actually lock, and I ended up bending the handle a little bit. Anyway, since I got that pushed down, so this is the way that y'all can see what's going on here. Just take your keepers, put that one in there, take the other one, and put that one in there. Kind of give it a couple up and down movements, just be sure that thing's seated, and it did. Remove your valve spring compressor tool and switch over to the exhaust side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give y'all this part number real quick. 66784 stud mount valve spring compressor. It's for all 3/8 and 7/16 rocker studs. The rocker studs on these engines are kind of a, basically kind of an in-between size. They're not, I don't think they're really a true 7/16 rocker stud. Because when I went to AutoZone to take the rocker stud nut up there to, you know, see what it was, it's almost like it's in a in-between size, so it's not really a true 3/8 and it's not really a true 7/16. So, but that little guy, man, comes in handy, as y'all can see. It's a whole lot better than these crappy salad tongs, and that's exactly what they are good for, is picking up salad, and you know, so these things suck, man. I tried to use this, didn't work out too good, because those spring compressors, you got to put them in between your spring and try to compress it, and you're fighting with it for a couple hours, and the thing pops off, and it's really a headache. So what I done is I just kind of broke down for 50 bucks, and I picked up one of these, and man, this thing comes in handy, and I love it. I actually love it. So hopefully that kind of helps y'all out there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get this the exhaust side done. It's just the same way. Just pop the keepers out, remove it, clean it, put new seals and stuff in. But I am going to show y'all on this exhaust side real quick. After I get all this done, I'm going to show y'all something. Alright, so I got this one popped loose. Y'all gonna see something real quick. Look at there. There is no seals on the exhaust side. There's nothing there. Don't believe me? I done pulled everything off. There's nothing there. You only have seals apparently on this car, or on this motor, particular motor. I don't know, maybe the 2.8s are set up the same way. But there is no exhaust valve seals on this. And it's really weird because everything I've worked on always had exhaust and intake seals. But that's okay, because today I'm putting exhaust seals on this. So I guess apparently from what somebody had told me, that from factory, they didn't put the valve seals on because apparently these valve guides, if I'm calling that right, valve guides, apparently the way they had made them was to seal tight, so they didn't have to use valve seals, if that makes any sense, which to me it don't make no sense. Just does not make no sense to me. Why they, I don't know. I can't explain that, y'all. But I'm gonna go ahead and get that cleaned up, and I'm putting a valve seal on it. Same way, grab your exhaust valve, slip that over. Now this side's kind of this kind of side's a little bit loose, but it still ain't gonna go nowhere because the rope still has it handled out pretty good. Now the exhaust side is a little easier to get on. You can just slip it right over. Put your retainer and stuff back on. Alright, so if you're wondering on how to do this side, like I said, loosen this guy up. See, I got a gap. Let's loosen her up. Hold this while you're turning this. It's best to have this completely off the threads. Run this down a little bit. About, I don't know, probably about right here roughly, and then take and start threading this on. You'll have to hold this and turn with this hand. Run it all the way down to the bottom, or at least try to run it to the bottom. You can push that down and install your keepers. Go ahead and install your keepers. Hopefully. Slowly lift up. Good deal. Give it, like I said, give it a couple pushes. Make sure it's locked. And if it's locked, you're good. Undo your deal. Put the push rods and stuff back in. But that is how you do valve seals on this motor. What I'm gonna do is I'll probably come back and make another video on how to set your push rods, taking the slack and stuff out, getting them to 0 lash. Now that's a whole nother video, so just watch out for that one. I'll have it posted up, and I'm gonna have all the part numbers and everything in the description below of this video. So if you have any questions or anything, you're trying to figure out what part number you need to get or what parts and stuff you need to get, I'll have all that stuff listed in the description. So alright guys, y'all be good, be safe, God bless.